Welcome to Module 2, where we'll discuss the foundations of assessment. We'll start by debunking a common myth that assessment in student affairs is new. While assessment of teaching and learning may have earlier roots inside the classroom, a documented history of assessment outside of the classroom is nearly 100 years old. We'll take a pause break here so that you can read this brief blog post by Sydney Cayenne entitled Unpacking History to Understand the Future of Student Affairs Assessment. One very valuable resource available to you is SAL, the Student Affairs Assessment Leaders Group. It is a free group to join with frequent webinars, blog posts, and an interactive listserv. And once a year, the group offers a mass online open course that is like an Assessment 101 class. SAC members are strongly encouraged to sign up for this class. It spans several weeks, is interactive, and you can earn a certificate of completion at the end. This course is also free, and we will be forever thankful to those who provide instruction within it, as it has definitely shaped the development of assessment here at HAC and led to professional growth opportunities for our assessment leaders. We'll take a pause break here so that you can bookmark the SAL site and review it. There's a direct link to the SAL site on your onboarding worksheet.
As we jump into building our foundation for assessment, we do have to acknowledge that assessment has its own language. At times, you may be uncomfortable to hear your peers rattle off assessment terms that are unfamiliar to you, but fear not. They learned them one by one and likely didn't know too many when they got started also. You'll quickly pick up language if you are inquisitive and inclined to do so. What you see before you is a snip from a 3-page document that lists words that you'll commonly hear. In a minute, we'll take a pause break so that you can bring up the document, which is linked in your onboarding worksheet, and get a baseline for your comfort with vocabulary. There is no right starting place. In order to build your vocabulary, jot down the words that are unfamiliar to you. Or, if most of them are unfamiliar, print out the 3-page document. Resources you have available to you are our own assessment Google site, your peer assessment leaders, trusty old Google, and perhaps you'll find AI could be a good tool. Check out the prompt that I gave it on the screen. When you schedule your next meeting with the SAC lead, you can go over any that are still unfamiliar. Let's put that vocabulary knowledge to use. You'll often hear that assessment is an iterative process. What we mean by this is that it loops around, and one cycle informs the next. We start with defining what the assessment question is. What do we want to know about the programs and services that we're offering? How are students learning? Are we efficient and effective in the work that we do? Hopefully, we are doing this on a daily basis as we plan for our future. We ask ourselves, how will we know that what we're doing worked? What is the best way? How does this contribute to student learning? After we figured out what the assessment question is, we'll start collecting data. We'll measure the impact using specific methodology. We might survey the students to determine satisfaction or self-reported learning. We might have them directly demonstrate their knowledge by observing them. We could look at existing documents and records for proof of what we're assessing. There are lots of ways to take measurements, and being intentional about your methodology is key, and you'll be asked to predetermine it before you start your assessment work. After your data has been collected, you'll begin to make meaning out of it by analyzing it. We've primarily stuck with descriptive statistics in our assessment, so there'll be no need to sign up for another math class. After you've made meaning out of your data, you'll craft a story using not only a narrative, but also data visualizations, which may end up being a bit different based upon the varied audiences with whom you'll share your assessment work. We call this evidence-based storytelling. Going back to that vocabulary list, you might remember looking over the difference between formative and summative assessment. The last part of the cycle, as shown on the graphic, is adjusting the program. This is when we take the knowledge we've gained from analyzing the data and use it to enhance our work. We learn where we can make improvements and we work towards making them. In summative assessment, we complete the assessment work, analyze the data, and adjust the program. However, in formative assessment, we take the feedback from the data along the way, maybe on an ongoing basis or a periodic schedule, and we use it to make enhancements as we go, not delaying the enhancements to a specified end date. You may also notice the white text all around the graphic that says share. That's because sharing what you're planning to do, what you found, and how you're making enhancements are all an expectation of having a culture of assessment, something we strive to have here at HACC. We do this through discussion with our teams, collaborative work across our teams, and in our monthly showcases. Next, we'll talk about different types of outcomes. As you begin to define the assessment work you're planning to do, one decision you'll make is what type of outcome will you write? It's important to know there is no set language in the field of assessment for types of outcomes, and they are called different things across institutions of higher education. However, we needed common language here at HACC so we could clearly communicate our plans amongst ourselves. So we settled on 3 different types of outcomes. The first type listed is a learning outcome. This is where the intended audience is provided with a condition under which learning is expected to happen, and then a measurement is taken to test whether that learning has happened. Learning is about gaining skills and knowledge and abilities, and students are not just those that are enrolled with us. Let's think about it more in a broad context with anyone who has learned. Our audience might be fellow employees or even high school guidance counselors. Program outcomes are focused on the impact a program has had on a student's overall success. Because of a program or service that we offered, has a student's chances of graduating increased? Were they retained at higher levels to the next semester? Or maybe their chances of successfully completing a class with high DWF rates has risen. The emphasis here is that the program outcomes are increasing the likelihood of student success measures. This leaves us with operational outcomes, which focus on the efficiency and effectiveness of our programs and are really more about our day-to-day operations. These types of outcomes might answer questions like, do students like our services? Did we serve more students this semester than we did last semester? What is our wait time for our services? And did the change we make decrease that wait time? We're going to pause here so that you can review the types of outcomes. Please click on the link in your onboarding worksheet for a copy of the graphic that you're seeing here, as well as examples of several sample outcomes that fall within each type. We'll close this lesson by talking about alignment of our work. We interchangeably refer to this as mapping. This is just a fancy way of saying that we're connecting the assessment work that we're doing with higher level priorities of the institution or an outside agency. This assessment work might be testing an objective found in the institutional strategic plan or our division's operational plan. It might be related to your functional area's goals or student learning outcomes. You might be affiliated with a professional organization or an accreditor for which you're doing assessment work, like NACADA, NODA, or NASFA. Our next lesson will be writing assessment outcomes, and part of the lesson will include having you reflect on and identifying how the outcome you're writing will align. See you soon.